LeBron James is arguably the greatest player to ever touch a basketball with a 20-year career that has made him a 4-time NBA champion, 4-time NBA MVP, and 2-time Olympic champion. But where it all started was Akron, Ohio, where LeBron James was born somehow in the same hospital as Warriors guard Stephen Curry, and lived with his mother Gloria James and spent some time growing up with youth coach Frank Walker. LeBron enjoyed some AAU success before going to St. Vincent St. Mary High School and was dominating. He would win 3 national championships and be named Gatorade National Player of the Year in his junior and senior seasons before committing to the NBA draft at just 18 years old. LeBron James was drafted first overall to his hometown Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2003 draft, and immediately the chosen one showed why he would be a problem for years to come with 25 points in his NBA debut. LeBron would end up scoring 41 points later that season against the Nets, becoming the youngest player with 40 ever, and would win Rookie of the Year, becoming the first Cavalier and youngest player to win the award. LeBron's Cavaliers would finish 35-47, somehow just one game out of the playoffs, despite this team being hoarded outside of LeBron. And over the offseason, the Cavs would add Drew Gooden and would have much higher expectations this season, but the season was full of many ups and downs. LeBron, already in his second season, was starting to take the leap into stardom, already with the third most points per game in the entire league and scoring a franchise-high 56-pointer on March 20th against the Raptors. But the Cavs, who started the year 30-20 behind Bron and fellow All-Star Zydrunas Ilgauskas, finished 42-40 and missed the playoffs by loss of tiebreaker to the Nets. But in just his second season, it was clear that LeBron was on path to become an all-time great. In his third season, he would take another considerable jump, averaging 31.4 points and finishing second in MVP voting to Steve Nash, a controversial award, but did win All-Star MVP, and for the first time in his career would make the playoffs with 50 wins. The Cavs would play the Wizards in the first round, and Bron had a memorable series, as in Game 1 he put up a 32-point triple-double and would hit game winners with less than 5 seconds left in Game 3 and 5 to advance to the second round, before falling to the Pistons. But either way, it was a very impressive playoff debut, as he would average 30.8 points, but that wouldn't compare to the Cavs next season. They would again finish with 50 wins in Bron's fourth season, but this time placed second in the East despite no key off-season moves, something that is becoming a trend. LeBron and the Cavs would sweep the Wizards in the first round and beat the Nets in 6 after that to get to the conference finals, where the Cavs would face off against the first-seeded Pistons, who had won the finals just a few years prior, and were praised for their defense. But it would be a classic LeBron series, with Cleveland going down 0-2 before winning their next 4 straight, with Bron averaging 31, 10, and 9, highlighted by his 48-point classic in the double overtime Game 5, where he would hit a game winner with just 2 seconds to go. Cleveland would fall into the finals to the Spurs at the peak of their powers, but it was a huge step for this team. The Cavs would again stay stagnant in the offseason, with the main move being acquiring Ben Wallace and Delonte West, and the team declined with just 45 wins despite Bron winning the scoring title with 30 points per game, and during the season would get the Cavs franchise point total record and over 100 less games than previous owner Brad Daugherty. Cleveland would beat the Wizards again before losing to the eventual champions Celtics in the second round, with no fault to Bron though, as in the last 3 games of the series he would average 37 points with 45 of his team's 92 points in Game 7. In the summer, LeBron and Team USA would win the 2008 Olympic gold medal, dominating the entire run by going 10-0. In the offseason, the Cavs would trade for Mo Williams, one of the best players LeBron ever had up to that point, and Cleveland took a massive jump, going 66-16, breaking their franchise record wins, and LeBron won his first MVP and finished second Defensive Player of the Year, becoming just the 4th player post-ABA-NBA merger to lead his team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. The Cavs would sweepwalk into the conference finals before the Magic surprisingly beat them, despite Bron averaging 38.5 points and hitting a game-winning buzzer beater. Talk really heated up about LeBron's free agency at this time, as he had just 1 year remaining, and in that 09-10 season he would again win MVP, as we saw some of the first sustained minutes of Point Bron. The Cavs finished strong and with 61 wins, which was good for first in the conference, but would again be eliminated early, losing the last 3 straight to blow a 2-1 lead to the Celtics in a very up and down series for the Star. We're previewing one of the biggest free agency decisions in sports history.
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
After the decision, LeBron James immediately became the biggest villain in the league, joining Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh to assemble a super team in Miami, and they were amazing. Even though the team started at a slow 9-8, they finished with wins in 49 of their last 65 games to grab the 2nd seed right behind the Derrick Rose Bulls. LeBron and the Heat would march to the NBA Finals through the Sixers, Celtics, and Bulls, but would get shocked by the Mavericks. Despite getting a 2-1 lead, the Heat would lose the next year, with LeBron having one of his worst stretches in his career. This would be a huge blemish on his legacy, and after getting a super team, still hadn't won a championships in 8 seasons, setting up a tremendous amount of pressure on the 2011-12 season. LeBron and the Heat would go 46-20 in a lockout shortened season to get the 2nd seed, and James would win MVP for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. The Heat would smoke their rival Knicks in the first round before losing Chris Bosh for a stretch and trailing 2-1, before we saw Point Bron in the playoffs and winning the next 3 while averaging a near triple-double. The Heat again trailed, this time 3-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals to a still stacked Celtics team, but LeBron showed us why he is the king. A classic 45-point game with 15 boards demolished the Celtics and won the best games in LeBron's career and arguably the most impactful one. Sent Game 7 back to Miami where he would lead them to a 101-88 win. Miami, though surprisingly not favored, would beat the Thunder in 5 as LeBron would finally win his first championship and took home Finals MVP as one of the greatest individual playoff runs of this century. Over the offseason, LeBron and Team USA would win their second straight Olympics, and with him finally getting his first title, his 2013 season was legendary. LeBron was complete, a dominant inside force with a 40% three-point, legitimately elite defense and all-world basketball IQ. This season was widely regarded as his best season ever as he won MVP with 120 of the 121 first place votes and nearly won Defensive Player of the Year with an extremely controversial second place. The Heat finished with 66 wins, including a 27-game win streak, though by this season both co-stars Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade started showing signs of clear regression. The Heat would roll through the first 2 rounds, but LeBron would be forced to carry an injured squad in the conference finals with a buzzer beater in Game 1. They would match up against the Spurs in the finals, and though the first 5 games the Heat went down 3-2 and LeBron was criticized heavily, he would score a 32-point triple-double in Game 6 to stay alive with 21 in the second half and 16 in the fourth, though Ray Allen's shot of course takes the spotlight. James then scored 37 with 22, 9, 3, and 2 in the second half, and a dagger jumper and free throws to secure his second consecutive championship and Finals MVP. In the 2013-2014 season, LeBron was on a heater, scoring a career high and Heat high 61 points against the Bobcats, while also tying his career postseason high with 49 in his second round game against the Nets. Though the Heat did make the finals, this Heat team was clearly getting worse as they were banged up and had a little continuity with 20 different starting lineups. Miami would lose in the finals to the Spurs in a rematch, and after that game, Bron would look to return home and finish his previous mission. LeBron joined Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love on this newly assembled Cleveland squad after 4 years of trouble without their former star. The Cavs would start out slow, going 19-20, but after some midseason moves for Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith, and Timothy Mozgov, they would finish 53-29, good for second in the East. In the first round, he would take out a transitioning era of the Celtics and would hit a game-winning buzzer beater in Game 4 against the Bulls, eventually winning in 6. The 60-win Hawks were no match as the Cavs swept them, but there was a big problem. Kevin Love was injured in the first round with a shoulder injury and was out for the rest of the playoffs, while Kyrie Irving initially got injured during the conference finals, but in Game 1 of the NBA Finals against the Warriors, he broke his kneecap and was out for the remainder of the series and season. With the Cavs already being massive underdogs to 67-win Golden State, it was all but over. Cleveland would edge out Games 2 and 3, but the supporting cast of J.R. Smith, Matthew Dellavedova, Tristan Thompson, Timothy Mozgov, and Iman Shumpert, they would lose the final 3 games despite a Herculean effort by LeBron. The next season was all about getting revenge and LeBron bringing a ring to Cleveland. The Cavs would win 57 games but would endure a mid-season coach firing with Tyronn Lue taking over as head coach. In the first round, the Cavs would sweep the Pistons with Kyrie playing amazing and would sweep the Hawks in the second round. In the conference finals, the Cavs would finally drop a game but would advance their second consecutive finals and LeBron's 6th. The Cavs would be huge underdogs though, as the Warriors had won a record 73 games in the regular season and it started out rough, falling behind 3-1 with a pair of blowout defeats, but this is when LeBron's legacy changed. In Game 5, Draymond was suspended, and with a 41-16, 7-3 and 3 game from Bron, an additional 41 from Kyrie, Cleveland would pull away in the second half. He would again score 41 in a near triple-double in Game 6 to force a Game 7 in Oracle Arena, and in that game we all know what happened. A historical performance by Kyrie capitalized by one of the greatest defensive plays ever. A chase down block from LeBron and then a game-winning 3 by Kyrie to finally bring a ring to Cleveland. This completely changed LeBron's legacy as he finally brought a ring to the place he promised to bring one to. The next season would be a much harder road though, as Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, making arguably the greatest team of all time. LeBron and the Cavs would again make the finals, LeBron breaking Michael Jordan's all-time playoff points record on the way, but the injured Cavs would easily be defeated by Golden State, taking just 1 game. 2018 would be a much more notable season though, with Kyrie Irving traded away and Kevin Love an injured shell of his former self. LeBron had one of the best seasons of his career. He miraculously dragged this team to the NBA Finals with multiple game-winning shots in the playoffs against Indiana and LeBronto before defeating the Celtics in 7. He would score a playoff career high 51 in overtime in Game 1 of the Finals, but it wasn't enough and Golden State would end up sweeping Cleveland for their second consecutive championship. After 8 straight NBA Finals appearances in the East, LeBron was due for free agency and made a career-changing decision. LeBron James was heading to Los Angeles to join the Lakers in the Western Conference for the first time in his career, but the season was very rough as the team struggled to find good rotations, and by the time they started to roll, LeBron would suffer the first major injury throughout his career. In the Christmas Day game, he would have a groin injury and would miss 17 consecutive games. The Lakers would end up missing the playoffs, the first time LeBron missed the playoffs since 2005. And over the offseason, they would make some big changes, trading younger guys like Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball to get Anthony Davis and change a lot of their rotational pieces with a great supporting cast around LeBron. The season ended early, though the Lakers were the 1 seed heading into the break, and behind this great supporting cast, Los Angeles would march into the finals with just 3 losses, and in those NBA Finals, LeBron would average a near 30-point triple-double in a classic head-to-head against Jimmy Butler in Game 5. But the Lakers would ultimately win the title in Game 6, bringing LeBron his 4th championship. Unfortunately, over the last few years, the Lakers have failed to assemble teams around LeBron, as in 2021, the team was insanely injured and the cast started splitting splitting apart, though LeBron's playing heroics got them into the playoffs, while in 2022 the Russell Westbrook experiment completely failed, and then last season the Lakers would make a surprise run to the conference finals off of some deadline moves, but would get swept by the Nuggets. But LeBron's longevity has allowed him to break some insane records recently. On the final day of 2020, LeBron reached 1,000 straight games with 10 or more points, with the streak now sitting above 1,200 games. The next season, LeBron would achieve his 100th triple-double, a feat just 6 players have ever done, and also became the first player in the 30,000 point, 10,000 rebound, 10,000 assist club. An ankle injury would take him and the Lakers out for the year, eliminating him from scoring title contention. But last season was all about chasing the scoring title, and he had some noticeable games and accomplishments on the way. Getting into top 10 in career threes made, most 20-point games ever, 66th Player of the Week award, double the second place Kobe Bryant, his 100th 40-pointer, becoming the first player to get 40 points against every team, and getting his career high 9 threes with a 47-point near triple-double on his birthday, and a comeback win against the Hawks, headlining an absurd December and January run. But he would break the record books on February 7th, scoring his 38,388th point to break Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's seemingly once unbreakable record. LeBron would be awarded his 19th consecutive All-NBA appearance, the most in league history. This season, LeBron and the Lakers won the first in-season championship and was awarded his 20th consecutive All-Star appearance, which is the most appearances ever. The Lakers currently sit at 9th in the West at the time of this recording, though the West is extremely compact, and LeBron is less than 100 points ever from becoming the first player to ever with 40,000, and by the time you're seeing this, he may have already hit it. And that is the career of the King, LeBron James.